everybody, welcome back to Pokemon Fanfics. Today we'll be doing the review of Pokemon Universe Episode 16, Rivals Unite, Pokemon Battle Tournament Part 2. This episode, obviously, less battles, because there's less trainers in the tournament now. It's narrowed down to the semifinals, which is 4, but there's more character building in this episode than in the previous episode, because obviously we had to do some major character development moments, especially for Trent, the main character, obviously. So, the episode basically begins right off where the last one ended, obviously. The episode begins right off where Luna and Vincent are about to battle, and they set up for battle. When they leave the lobby and actually head to the stadium to battle, Luna uses Misdreavus this time, and Vincent uses Curlia. She's using Misdreavus so she can reflect the fight that they had during episode 12 when they met. So, when they do that, episode 11, when they met. So, when they do that, the battle basically begins right off the bat. They both waste no time. Curlia busts in a Shadow Ball. Misdreavus busts in Side Beam, so the two attacks clash. Boom, they waste no time. Luna then tells Misdreavus to use Astonish, so Misdreavus sneaks into the smoke to use Astonish. Curlia dodges that with agility, so he dodges, but once he quickly dodges, Misdreavus pops out of the ground and uses Side Beam from right after the Astonish, not wasting a beat. After that, Vincent tells Curlia to use Double Team. So now there's double teams. Curlia is able to dodge. Curlia then uses Psycho Cut in order to counter Misdreavus. Misdreavus winds up dodging that and ends up landing a direct hit on the Side Beam attack the second time around. Oh yeah, because Curlia ends up using Astonish, and then once he uses Astonish on one of the other double teams, Luna tells Misdreavus to use a Side Beam right after that. After that, when Curlia gets hit, Curlia rolls back in, jumps back into the fight, and busts in with the Shadow Ball and hits Misdreavus. So the two are actually not holding back. It's attacks flying back and forth. The two are actually at really big speeds, but unfortunately Luna senses that her and Misdreavus are having a disadvantage because they can't keep up with Curlia once it uses agility. They just can't keep up with the speed. So then Misdreavus winds up trying to use Astonish again and fails after the two attacks collide because they use Side Beam and Shadow Ball again, only this time Curlia decides instead of Astonish, it winds up learning Shadow Sneak in mid-battle. So the Shadow Sneak goes in and is about to hit Curlia, and Curlia just barely is able to dodge it with agility. Thankfully, he ends up using Double Team to dodge that, but then Luna tells, the double teams happen in a row, so there's a line of Curlias right now that are illusions. Luna tells Curlia to use the Shadow Sneak on the far right one, and then pops up out of the ground and shoots the Dark Pulse left. That way it can just mow down the row of Curlias. Vincent tells Curlia to counter. I think he gets hit that time, and then he tells him to counter with Psycho Cut. Once that ends up happening, Misdreavus ends up getting hit, and then Misdreavus ends up using Shadow Sneak. Curlia jumps in the air to dodge it, but now that he's in the air, Curlia can't obviously dodge because, he's in midair. So Luna tells Misdreavus to use a wide Dark Pulse. The Dark Pulse ends up spreading, and it hits Curlia in midair. Just when they thought the battle was over and Curlia is in mid-air, Curlia flies down with agility really fast, and then Vincent tells Curlia to use Shadow Ball. Misdreavus dodges the Shadow Ball, but the Shadow Ball wasn't initially meant for Misdreavus. Vincent then tells Curlia to use that Shadow Ball as a cushion, so Curlia is on the ground now, and the explosion from the Shadow Ball boosts Curlia forward towards where Misdreavus is. He tells Curlia to use agility to make the boost of speed even faster, and then they use Psycho Cut. So the Psycho Cut looks like a samurai sword now. Well, it doesn't look like a samurai sword, but Curlia slashes through Misdreavus like a samurai would slash through an opponent. You know that anime effect where a Pokemon is going so fast in a blink of an eye they appear on the other side of the opponent, and then they end up reacting as if they just got slashed by a samurai sword. Yeah, that's what basically happened to Misdreavus. So yeah, that happens, and then bam, Misdreavus ends up getting hit, and Misdreavus is knocked out, and Luna loses that battle. So Vincent gets to advance to the finals. Luna grabs Miss Drevis and they both hug and they're upset about it and she returns. Vincent and Luna shake hands for a good battle though, and Luna vows that she'll get stronger so that she can have a rematch and win the next time they battle. So then after that, Trent actually feels a little bad for Luna, but then Trent is also feeling a little bit tense about his battle with Kaz because of the events that happened in episode 2 when he met up with Kaz. So he's trying to rectify those events and, win this battle this time around. While he's lost in thought, Luna basically tells him, hey, you need to get out there or else you're going to be late. So after this, Trent is asking her, is she okay about losing? And Luna's like, yeah, I lost, but Miss Drevis and I got stronger, which is true because they learned a new move in the process. So then after that, Luna wishes Trent good luck, and instead of just saying thank you, Trent says thanks, and then with a cocky attitude states he doesn't really need luck. So then Luna gets mad, kicks Trent forward. Trent bumps into Kaz, and Kaz gets a little annoyed, and he's like, hey, I guess you're ready to lose to me already. So they make it out into the stadium, and the battle for them between them two is about to begin. When the battle starts, Trent uses Noctowl in this battle. Kaz ends up using Combustion. So, when the battle begins, things look pretty good for Trent because obviously he's using a flying type to Kaz's fighting type. So what Trent winds up doing is he has Noctowl use Peck, Combustion ends up using Fire Spin, Trent tells Noctowl to dodge that by flying into the air. Things look good for Trent. He's got the aerial ground, or at least that's what he thinks. Combustion then is told to jump into the air. Combustion kneels down and uses its very strong leg muscles to jump really high, and then uses Quick Attack to boost even higher into the air. Luna figures out, hey, this is why Kaz wasn't worried about Combustion not having the aerial advantage, because Combustion can jump as high as Noctowl can fly. So this leads to some very bad things. Noctowl ends up getting hit super fast by that Quick Attack, but then, thankfully, Trent is able to tell Noctowl to quickly use Confusion to grab hold of Combustion and slam Combustion down on the ground. So Combustion takes some damage, but Combustion rolls back up and is ready to fight even further. So then at this point, Trent realizes, hey, if we're going to win this battle, we need to keep using Confusion, because Confusion is going to be our best bet in this battle. Unfortunately, Luna, Vincent, and Kaz all catch that Trent is getting way too used to the Confusion attack as being their ace in this battle. Kaz quickly finds a way to counter this. Trent tells Noctowl to use Confusion. Kaz tells Combustion to use Fire Spin on the ground. The reason for this is because once the Fire Spin hits and makes contact with anything, it bursts into a giant fiery tornado, which engulfs Combustion. Because of this, there's a fire tornado surrounding Combustion, which means Noctowl can't see where Combustion is, which means he can't focus on using Confusion because he can't see Combustion at all. He doesn't know where Combustion's gone, and Combustion moves too fast for Noctowl to track via psychic energy. So when the Fire Spin dissipates, we don't see where Combustion is. We reveal that Combustion's actually in the air. Combustion falls in and is about to use Slash. Noctowl just barely is able to dodge it by flying backwards. Unfortunately, Noctowl's a bit low on the ground now. Combustion charges forward, and after that ends up happening, Noctowl ends up learning the move Air Cutter in mid-battle to slow Combustion down. Trent then tells Noctowl to use Future Sight. So Combustion knocks away at the Air Cutters, and their goal is to defeat Noctowl before the Future Sight has the chance to take effect. So when he's charging forward toward Noctowl even further, things don't look so good. Trent tells Noctowl to use Confusion on Combustion again. Unfortunately, Kaz is like, hey, you guys are way too predictable. He tells Combustion to use Quick Attack again, and Combustion moves so fast this time that Noctowl couldn't focus on Combustion long enough for Confusion to work. So then Combustion and them are in the air. They use Fire Spin, and once they use Fire Spin, the Fire Spin expands and gets bigger and engulfs Noctowl, ends up hitting Noctowl. Noctowl faints, and the battle is over. Trent has lost. So Kaz will be advancing to the finals. After that, rather than how Vincent and Luna did their battle afterwards, Trent is so upset he barely is able to return Noctowl to his Pokeball. But once he does, he just sort of runs out of the stadium and out of the Pokemon Center completely. So yeah, Trent is pretty beat up. Kaz actually looks at the battle for a second and realizes, hey, if a couple of more seconds had passed, Combustion would have been hit with Future Sight, and we would have lost. So he's like, that rookie, because that's what he calls him, that rookie is getting better, but hey, we won anyway, so it really doesn't matter. So Kaz walks off with all the confidence in the world. The host, Mike, decides that, hey, we should all the audience members are going to take a break before the finals, because, finals. During the break, Coda and Ann notice that Trent's upset, so they walk outside to where Trent is, and Trent is standing by the fountain near the Pokemon Center, and they're asking him, is he alright, and Trent's just not responding to them at all. Like, Coda and Ann have also tried to talk to him, and he hasn't responded to any of them. Vincent's healing his Curlia, so yeah, he's getting ready for the battle. So they return back. And when they return back, Luna is a bit concerned that Trent hasn't come back to watch the final match. And at this point, before the final match starts, Luna steps out. And when she steps out, she sees that Pichu is trying to cheer Trent up about the events that just happened and him losing. And Pichu can't even get in through Trent at all. He's trying, but to no avail. Luna comes out and is like, hey, listen. And now, I'm not going to say the whole speech is all written, but she basically is, the short clipped version is, hey, look, you got to learn from losing too. Every time you win a battle, you get very cocky, and every time you beat a gym leader like Sora or Matt, you get really cocky about things and you think you're the best, but then you lose and you lose all of your spirit as well. You need to learn from losing, get back up, and not beat yourself up over things, because the best trainers lose every once in a while and they get better at it. That's the short version. So after that, Luna says, hey, are you going to go back in and watch this tournament or not? Luna walks back in to go watch the finals. Trent sort of stays out there for a little while. The finals officially starts, and when the finals start, Kaz ends up using his Horsey in this battle. And Vincent obviously uses Curlia because that's his only Pokemon. And when the battle takes place, Kaz wastes no time going in with Water Gun. Vincent tells Curlia to use Double Team to dodge it. Then he tells Horsey to use Smoke Screen, and when that happens, Vincent tells Curlia to use Agility while spinning. That way, while using Agility while spinning, the speed and force of that will cause the smoke to dissipate. When that happens, Vincent knows that Horsey is going to be above them, so he tells Curly to use the Shadow Ball. And it's really cool because they're coming out of the spin while doing this. So while they're still spinning, he tells Curly to use Shadow Ball, and then he's spinning and then throws the Shadow Ball in the air. It's kind of like when you spin and wind up a pitch. That's basically what happens. So the Shadow Ball is going really fast, and it hits Horsey hard. But then Horsey goes back in and uses Bubble Beam. Kaz ends up telling Curlia to use Double Team. At this point, Trent's back in. He walks back in, and they're all happy to see that he decided to come back and watch the battle. And Trent shows that he's cheered up a little bit while he's like, well, he doesn't show that he's upset, but he does, like, give off this cocky attitude, like, hey, I'm going to be the next future champion, so I guess I got to watch this battle. So he's holding his head up high, but in the end, we know he's still a little bit beat up. Anyway, when the battle keeps taking place, Horsey ends up using Smoke Screen again, and this time they tried the same strategy they did to dissipate the smoke the last time, only this time they're not allowed to because Kaz tells Horsey to use Water Gun and hits Curlia from one side. Curlia tries to counter, but then he ends up getting hit by Water Gun on a bunch of sides. If you've ever seen Naruto and you remember that moment where Haku trapped Naruto and Sasuke in the ice mirrors, and they kept getting hit by Senbone from each side. That's kind of like what's happening right now, only replace the ice mirrors with smoke and replace the Senbone with Horsey's Water Gun. So, Vincent and Curlia don't know how to get out of this just yet, but then they realize that there is a strategy they can do. Vincent tells Curlia to use Double Team. When he tells him to use Double Team, he tells the Curlias, the Double Teams, to spread out a bit, and they all go in different directions. So once all of the illusions go in different directions, the water gun keeps hitting all of them from different sides, but the water gun's much slower now because there's more targets. Because of that, Vincent is able to track where Horsey is, and then he tells Curly to use agility and Psycho Cut really fast to hit the Horsey. Horsey retaliates after getting hit by using Bubble Beam, and Vincent tells Curly to jump over the Bubble Beam, so they're like right over the Bubble Beam, like a few inches over the Bubble Beam. Like how Froakie dodged the Iron Tail that Onyx did in X and Y, that's how close they are above that Bubble Beam. And while they're doing that, Curlia ends up throwing a shadow ball, hitting Horsey dead in the face, and Horsey's knocked out. Curlia wins, which means Vincent wins the entire tournament. So because of that, everybody claps for Vincent. They celebrate that Vincent won, and Kaz is a bit beat up about the loss, but he's just like, hey, listen, I'm going to get stronger and beat you next time, Vincent, so look out. So Vincent's like, yeah, okay, I'm looking forward to that challenge. So afterwards, Vincent is given them the prize, which is a box of Pokemon vitamins. And after that, later on that night, Vincent takes everybody who was in the tournament. So Luna, Trent, Coda, Matt, Shay, all of them. He took them to a restaurant to eat. So everybody in the tournament is chilling, relaxing, eating at a restaurant. Kaz is not there because he's so pissed about the loss, he just sort of left. Like he left straight back on the road to do his journey. He didn't stick around with the others. And Trent is not in the restaurant yet, but he's still there. Like he's outside of the restaurant looking into an empty Pokeball, and he's really determined to get stronger now because of the loss. And he wants to take this time to become even better so that the next time he meets Kaz, he can beat him. So after that, they sort of tease Trent and like, hey, if you're going to stay out there all night, we're going to eat your food. Trent comes in and he's like, hey, you guys, chill out. So he runs in there and he goes in to eat food, and hilarity takes place, and then the next morning shows up. So Trent, Luna, and Coda are about to hit the road. They notice Ann isn't packed yet, and Vincent's about to hit the road too, but he's going into a different route. So after that, Vincent gives Luna some calcium vitamins, and he gives Trent some Carbos vitamins. And they're like, hey, why are you doing this? This was your prize. And Vincent's like, hey, I'm going to share. I really don't care. He said he was going to give some to Kaz as well, but Kaz took off so fast he didn't get the chance to. So with that said, everyone vows that they'll meet each other again. If there's another tournament, then Trent will say that he'll win the whole thing. And everyone wishes Trent, Luna, and Coda good luck on their journey. Vincent and Curly go their separate way to continue their training. And Ann is still not packed. And the reason she's still not packed is because Ann is not going to be traveling with Trent, Luna, and Coda at this point anymore. She just said that she'll stay in Aldentown for a while and work there, work on her Pokemon seamstress goal. So she'll be working on fabrics and sewing and things like that. So she's going to stay behind in Aldentown for a while with Caterpie, obviously, and they're going to stay in Aldentown and work on her goal as being a seamstress. So this is what she does leave them with a parting gift, though. She gives Trent a new badge case made out of like this cool fabric stuff. So yeah, Trent's got a new badge case, Coda's got a new camera bag, and Luna's got a new bow. So yeah, she leaves them with that. And once she leaves them with that, she basically tells them goodbye. And Trent, Luna, and Coda hit the road. And with that said, that basically the episode ends right there. This whole tournament, both episodes I really loved making. It turned out a lot better than I thought it would be because I had it in my mind what would happen, but I brought out some really cool characters and some really cool character traits and moments in this whole tournament that I never thought I would get out with just doing regular episodes. And I'm so glad that I made this two-parter when I did. And I'm glad I made it as early as I did. I wanted to wait for later for it to a big tournament just so that everybody can meet up. But I think it was a good idea to make the tournament this early on because I'm glad I made enough staple characters in the series to make this tournament actually work out so that it feels comfortable rather than just, if I had made it too early, then it would have been a problem because then no one would have been strong enough for the tournament to be that interesting. We would have been seeing moves like Tackle and Growl and crap. But I made it not late enough to the point where, we already have seen so much growth from these characters that it's not much that can be gained from this. I think I made it at just the right amount of time to where Trent can learn that, hey, he needs to start locking down in these battles. And obviously Trent and Luna losing is important because they both are the two characters that need to get stronger the most. Exposing them to their biggest rivals and having them overcome them even though they lost, they both got stronger out of it, was a really great moment. Especially for Trent's case because, Trent took losing the hardest out of the two. Like, Luna took it hard, but obviously she knows how to take a loss better than Trent does. And, yeah, I just think it worked out for them better the most. So, that's one thing I was really proud of. But with that said, the whole tournament, just the Alden Town experience in general, just them being in Alden Town, not just for the Trent's gym battle against Sora, but for these other 2 episodes, was really good. I'm kind of upset they had to part with Anne, but she's only a temporary traveling companion. But rest assured, Anne is still a reoccurring character. She's not going anywhere. She's just not going to be traveling with our heroes. So the next episode is episode 18, Tunnels of Separation, Luna versus Eevee. So I'll see you all then, everybody. Tyrone the God 3 out.